get it.
All right. What's going on? What's going on? Hopefully everybody had a fantastic week as we proceed. I'm James from My Take on Reality. Today we have somebody from Reality, Amanda.
Oh, sorry. Did I miss my cue there? I was still mentally at.
That's
yes.
a bop.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Reality Amanda here.
All right, and we also have somebody from the squad, the Reality Squad.
Hello. Happy to not be Trooper Michael Proctor today. Aaron Reed reference. I saw some people in the chat talking about it. That is a spicy trial for sure.
Yeah, people having problems. The legal issues can always get you. Like I watch a lot of the legal stuff, especially like for some reason I got trapped into the sovereign citizen rabbit hole for a little bit. So I've been watching. It seems like nonstop idiocy, and people just going to court saying the wrong thing. If you ever get in trouble, make sure you avail yourself of your Fifth Amendment, and your Sixth Amendment, which is the right to shut the hell up and the right to get an attorney.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you could find yourself in the big house.
Let's just say if I'm ever murdered, I'd rather my murder go unsolved than investigated by this trooper. That's how horrible he is.
Oh,
yeah.
Like, just let it go. It was an accident. Pay the insurance money. That's all.
I feel so bad for this victim's family that this circus of a trial has been going on. It's going to go till the end of the month, and it's been going since the end of April, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, this is like an entire season of Sister Wives. Is this trial?
That's insane in itself. Because usually trials, like even murder trials are probably the most extensive or lengthy, but they usually don't even go months and months and months.
Yeah.
They might go a month or two, but at the most, like a month, and that's a long one. That's what a lot of witnesses. More witnesses.
They're on witness 57 for this state today. Anyway. And honestly, like my attention span, I'm glad we are having 20-minute episodes right now of Sister Wives. It's like perfect for my attention span. I don't know how a jury. I will have certainly forgotten what happened week 1, and now we're on week 8.
Wow. Yeah, well, that's what the summations for. They'll give it back to you. They'll give you the cliff notes.
True.
Like, this is all the stuff that was important. Forget all that other stuff. That was show tunes. Show tunes and window dressing.
Yes.
So this week we had a interesting Sister Wives recap episode. This is season 2, episode 5. This was the Halloween special episode. Like, I guess this is kind of herald back to the old days of like television broadcasting, where you'd have like the Halloween special, the Christmas special. They always do like the Scrooge thing.
Yeah.
The Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, and Future. It was, so Halloween. It was all. Yeah. The one thing I will say for the Halloween episodes, it was always kind of scary. And in keeping with that, I think a lot of the stuff that comes out of the Brown family is kind of scary. So it kept the tradition alive. So.
I love these OG episodes because I love seeing the kids. I love seeing and I know like we have our opinions of like kids on reality TV, but I do love seeing these couch interviews with like the groups of kids. And it's nostalgia.
Yeah, especially with like the ones that are gone, like Young G's. He was a little firecracker.
Yes, he was on fire this episode too. Yeah.
Yeah, what did he say? His little line was they were talking about the Earth, Wind, and Fire. He's like, "You guys are a bunch of geeks or what?"
Nerds. He called them nerds.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
right,
polygamy nerds.
right.
Polygamy
Like
nerds.
Yeah,
Cute.
that's just that memory. I think that the one thing that always struck me about Garrison was the fact that he was always probably one of the more straightforward of all the kids. Like he was like right on them. Like he didn't give anybody any breaks. So he was
No,
always on somebody's neck.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So we had like I said, we had the whole Halloween thing. Uh they started out the episode. They were doing we're gonna go to the park for pizza because pizza makes everything go away. And speaking of like litigation, we're being investigated. There's a possibility the police are looking into us. So why wouldn't we go to the park for pizza? And that'll make everything go bye bye. And this actually is a special treat, and I can appreciate that now because more like back in the day. I remember when I was in college, there was a pizza place. They used to. I lived off pizza. I love pizza. There was a pizza place that had two for $10, and I would get a pizza. I get two pies. I'd have a pie for dinner. I'd have a pie for breakfast, and I have a pie for lunch, and something to eat off for the next couple of days. It was crazy. You know what I mean? I was loving it. I made it through college because of that pizza place.
Pizza was always at least 3 meals. So while
Mhm.
it certainly might not be like the cheapest option, it will go further because cold pizza is, I don't know. I
Right,
like cold pizza. So,
right. Just as good as warm pizza. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Some
yeah,
cases, depending on where you get it, could be better.
yeah.
But I think this was another episode of like when the Brown family talked about finances, and this was like again, this is one of those like little subtle hints that they dropped about where they were financially. Because Christina made the reference that pizzas we don't do this too often because it's so expensive. Which now pizzas are pretty, it's like $20 a pie or whatever, but it's expensive now. So, what did you guys think about the whole like outing when they go out, they start eating the pizzas, all the pizza boxes on the tables?
You know what? I was thinking about how like it all just depends on your point of view, like how for them getting pizza is splurging.
Mhm.
But I think for like maybe more like middle or upper class families, like splurging would be a nice expensive restaurant, but because they're like, there's a million of them and they have to stretch a dollar, like pizza is a big deal. And they listed it as expensive. And so yeah, I just thought, oh, everything just depends on your point of view and your lens and your perspective.
Mm, Well, I mean, the fact that they'd have to order so much, like I would imagine with the number of kids that they had, like even a takeout or to go to McDonald's is a $200-300 affair. Because it's just so many people, and this isn't them getting like 4 or 5 meals. This is like one kid getting like Happy Meals, and
Mhm.
even if the parents are eating just regular one meal things, some folks might be sharing. So it's the little things that I think really stuck out. But this is also kind of one of the things that you got to think about before you start trying to populate the earth. You know,
Yep.
I'm just saying. So there was this in this particular episode. You had Leon and Logan. They talked about how they were first learning to drive. Um, you see Logan. He's in like the car. I think he's driving Janelle's car, obviously, and then of course Leon gets the opportunity to drive Cody's White Lightning.
I
So
know. And I'm sorry, but I know like Leon was kind of a brat back in the day. Like we got to keep it real about that because Leon
right.
is the third child born, I believe. Aspen
Hmm.
is the second child born. Why is Aspen not learning how to drive?
Right. Right. Right.
Did
Question.
Meri just say, "Sorry, I'm first wife, so my kid is gonna learn how to drive"? I mean, they're months apart. It's not like they're a lot apart or anything, but I just noticed that. I'm like, where's Aspen's car?
Aspen, they called hush puppies. She had the hush puppy formulas. So, but with I thought it was funny that when Cody gets in the car with Leon, and he starts, okay, go ahead, back up, and then she backs up straight, and then she starts to turn the wrong way. He's like, that way, but she goes that way. I started thinking about him trying to teach Truly how to ride her bike. Like if he was yelling and screaming at poor Truly trying to ride her bike, and the only person who could get hurt with Truly riding her bike is Truly. And then you have Leon behind the wheel of a 3-ton, white ball of fun, and you're yelling and screaming at her and telling them to hit the brake and speed up and slow down and make the turn. What are you doing? That'll drive them crazy. Like people get out of the car crying. So that was crazy to me. But who taught you guys how to drive? Like, do you guys drive?
I do. My mom taught me how to drive, and it was a very traumatic experience for the both of us. So I will be imploring the expertise of professionals when it's time for. My daughter doesn't have to go through what I went through learning how to drive. Right. And I'm sure my mother wouldn't want me to go through what she went through when I learned how to drive. It was not a fun experience all around. But what I did love is Leon parking about like 3 feet from the curb.
Right.
I totally used to park like that before, cameras and all that stuff.
Yeah, but Cody was like, "You're good." I'm like, "What? There's like a foot there."
He probably was like, "I'd rather her park in the middle of the street than risk her like curbing it and scratching a tap or something."
Well, have him take it up on the grass. That's what.
Yeah.
Who taught you how to drive, Amanda?
Well, I've often compared my dad to Cody, so I assume Cody was terrible because my dad just like lost it. He had a temper, and he tried to take me out one time, and it was just right away like, "What are you doing? Oh my goodness! Like, oh, what? I said do this, not this." And then he was like, "Get out!" And then my mom taught me eventually.
I feel like there's a lot of similar stories in the chat about parents and trauma and driver's ed. And someone said, so at my school, I had like the actual school, like the test and stuff, we had driver's ed, but the actual like logging, however many, because I don't know. I know it's different now, but back then you had to log so many like training hours behind the wheel, and you had to like take so many classroom sessions, and then you went and took your license test, if I remember correctly. So it was kind of like a 2-part thing. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, here's the thing. I'm one of the old guys, and I remember when I learned the first time I drove. This is like way long time ago, but this is
not that long ago, James. Come on.
Right. Back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth. But my dad took me out we went down to a shopping center, and he sat me on his lap. I was probably about, I don't know, maybe 7, 8 years old, and we would drive the car around the parking lot. And that's how a lot of kids, got their first
7 years old.
Coyote Pass could be used for something. Saul and Ari could potentially just learn how to drive on Coyote Pass.
Right. Yeah, because legally you can drive the only time you need a license is on the street. So you can drive on your property. Your property is big enough for you to drive your car around on it. You can drive. There's a song that my dad, he was down in he was stationed down in Jacksonville, Florida for his job for a little bit. And he got in the country. And there's a guy named Alan Jackson who has a song called Drive. And it's about like when he was a kid, his dad would take him out and let him drive down the street. And a lot of country kids, that's how they learn. My family is from Georgia originally, but that's how a lot of country kids learn. Like you take them out when they're little, you let them. But when I got older, and it was time for me to get my license, Yeah, I went a professional route. They got me teachers, and because I wasn't going to drive around on their house, is what they told me. You're not driving around on my house, and you're not giving me a heart attack because I'm going to be scared as hell with you driving, and you're going to be scared as hell because I'm scared. They'll be there, pat their feet on the floor.
That
You going too fast. Slow down, slow down.
that was the issue with my mom, is like everything terrified her, and she's very like flamboyant and dramatic, and it would scare me, and so it was like we were scaring each other, and it was like, this is
Right.
not safe.
Right. We are it because I'm there now. Like my daughter, when she hit 16, I was like, "You going down? I can't do it. Like I don't have the nerves to do it. Like
Yeah.
like 'cause I'll be so scared because I've been driving for so long. Like I've been driving. Technically, I got my license when I was 15. Like I got my learner's permit when I was 15. As soon as I turned 15, we had like a little window you could get it, filled it out, got it. And then by the time I hit my 16th birthday, within like a week or two, I had my license. So, I was always on it. I've been driving ever since. So it's very difficult for me to sit even in the passenger seat with experienced drivers, let alone somebody who is new.
Mhm.
And I'm sitting there, and things look different on the other side of the car. So everything looks closer on your side. Like we're about to hit the. Why are you trying to go off the road on my side?
Have
Well,
you
let's
seen
pass it over.
have you two seen those videos of like driver's ed coaches, and the video is like the kid, it's like some teenager doing something like really dumb, and then the driver's ed teacher has the instructor's side so he can like hit the brakes, and it's like, like, why did you just try to swerve in the middle of traffic? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, was this some kind of pact? Like, what are we doing? And that's what the driver's teacher I had. They had a little brake on the. I mean, they didn't have a steering wheel. I hear some of them might have steering wheels, but she didn't have a steering wheel. But she damn sure had that brake. Like if things started getting wet and wild, she could at least stop the car. Like,
My current car kind of has that. It has this like auto brake thing. So the other day, but the thing is it's not accurate. So it thinks it knows better than you. I was backing out of a parking lot at my daughter's gymnastics place, and it just stops me. And I just like, me and my daughter were just like, "Wah!" Like it kind of like jolted us. There was nothing behind me. I think it caught like a reflection or something, and it just applied the brake. It was very annoying.
wow. Car's like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
Here we go. No, you're not.
Yeah.
But there was one part of the show, the special, where they talked about like you see the kids out there playing with each other, and they're doing things with each other. And this was one of the interesting things that like actually it seems like this is right in pace because I'm doing the Sunday night book club, Becoming Sister Wives, a book they wrote. And it seems like our review of the older episodes is right on pace with some of the topics that are being covered during the book. Last night we covered the Robin sorority, chapter 8, I think it was.
Mhm.
And in that chapter, she talks about the difference in culture and how her kids came up versus how the brown kids came up. And so they had the whole conversation about, oh, well, Robin's kids are integrating into the family so well. And then Robin made the snide remark of saying, yes, they're integrating into my family. And that really struck me because ultimately I think that there was like the Brown family culture. Then when Robin came in, it's not so much that she integrated into the Brown family culture as much as she changed the Brown family culture to suit her. Did you guys have any thoughts about that? Do you agree with that, or do you disagree with that? Do you think I'm reaching? What do you guys think?
I mean, so many thoughts. First of all, in regards to that subject, like what a lie, like, right?
Yeah.
Don't we now know, like, didn't all the OG3 be like, yeah, we just forced this, and actually the kids felt like it was just, forced upon them, and we didn't really talk to them about it. And like my memory of the last season was both side's children's complaining about the integration. And so this is all bullshit. It's part of my language.
No. French appreciate it. French approved.
I also took note of, Brianna sits there, and I didn't even catch what Gwen did, but apparently Gwen like tugged on her hair or something. I don't know, but she just like loses it in the confessional.
Right.
And Robin is sitting there in her confessional and just goes, Brianna's so thin-skinned. Now it's my kids were always like bullied and blah, blah, blah. But here she's like kind of throwing her own kids to the wolves.
Right. Yeah, I think she did that because I think I can see a world where the Brown families are out of control. I can see a world where Robin may have tried to play cool for the show, but if she was sitting there, she would have intervened because that's one of the things she had said during in her section of the book. She said that when there's a problem, she likes communication. So when there's a problem, I like to get in there and I hear two kids having a disagreement, and I try to break it all down and find out exactly what the source of the problem is, and we have a discussion. Like, kids are going to be kids. They have to be able to have arguments and have disagreements. You have to be able to argue. If you can't argue with your brother and sister, you have no chance in the world. Like, you're done data. So I think that's kind of like what we see. Like, I agree with what you're saying. Like, that's kind of what we see now in like season 17, season 18, especially when you talk about like that whole text chain where they were trying to do the Pollyanna, and she jumps in the middle of it, and then all of a sudden she's trying to mediate the conversation between her kids and the other kids, and it blows up. I think that's part of the what happens or the consequences of you never letting your kids handle their own business. You know what I mean? Like,
it was really funny too, because in the group of kids that included like Logan, Hunter, I think Leon, Aspen, and Maddie. It was all the older kids except for McKelty for some reason. They're talking about how Robin's kids get mad over dumb stuff. I think Maddie even said over like stupid stuff. Right. Logan's sitting there, Saint Logan, and is just like, I don't know, I think it's teaching us to be more patient. So
yeah, Logan was like such an advocate for Robin's kids in this episode. I noticed that too.
I feel like, you know who probably didn't need to be taught how to drive? Logan. He probably just like knew, like he took his first step and then he drove his first car in that order.
Yeah. Well, I agree with that. I think Logan was probably in a position where by his like 7th birthday, he had to go wake up, cook the kids breakfast, and then drive them all to school. So drop them off at daycare.
I remember when Logan was like moving out and going to school, and I remember being like, oh, I can't believe he's leaving home. Rewatching this, he seems exhausted. Like, you're telling me we're going to a pumpkin patch? Like, this is just so much. He's like envisioning all the work he's going to have to do because Cody's such a waste of space. Like, right. Who is starting the wheelbarrows of pumpkins to the cars? Logan. Right.
And load them into the car. And then Meri was, it was Logan and Meri, because Meri was complaining about, like, I had to pick up all the pumpkins to get them weighed so that I could put them in the wheelbarrow so Logan could take them over and load them into the car. Like, and Cody was running around giggling and laughing, having the time of his life. So I agree.
Yeah, but Meri was feeling that. She was like kind of showing off. She was like, yes, I can work a wheelbarrow. Watch me work this wheelbarrow. Boom. She was like, did you get that shot of me?
Right. I'm picking it all up. I won't.
Giving credit where credit's due to Meri. She is a worker bee. She is not a princess by any means. She is in there hauling ass when she needs to. So
I love it. I think this is peak Meri. Like, this is Meri at her best when she's being like controlling and showing off and like like just going ham on her like muscles. I love it. It's great.
Yeah. Right. Well, you know, and I think that's kind of the that I think that this was like the peak of Meri when she had like her own autonomy and strength. And then it's I won't say it's sad, like I pity Meri, but it's a little disheartening because over the years you watch them beat on her so much that by the time you get to like season 16 Meri, she's not even a reflection of the Meri that you see right now. Like it's almost like they're two different people.
This is an extreme example, but you see like Britney Spears now, Amanda Bynes now, and you go back and you see like just how talented they were before, like kind of and for different reasons, obviously, than Meri, but it's like you can be beaten out of like into a shell of your former self like that, and that's scary. I saw people talking about like the 7M documentary in the chat, and from what we hear from this like Miranda's family, I don't know if you guys watched it, but like she is just like a shell of her former self, and it's like that is so sad that another person could do that to another person. So sad.
Right. Well, I think that's kind of one of the things too. Like, as you get involved with folks, it's always keeping that in mind that, you know, there's that one side where you want to fix the person and it's not so bad. And you don't understand how, you know, it's not as bad as it looks. You don't know what's really going on. But maybe as an outsider, you're trying to warn them like, no, you don't see. They're kind of controlling and they're dominating you. And they're telling you things, and there's that one phrase that I use for everything, quote I use for everything. But it's you know, when you dance with the devil, you don't change the devil changes you. And as she continued in that relationship, like even though early on people might have been telling her, I know the fans were saying it because Twitter was blowing up, and it got so bad Robin and Cody came off Twitter because they were talking about how they were treating these women, and so I know she heard it, but she resisted. You guys don't know what it's like. I'm a strong, independent woman, and he's not doing anything to me. And he wore on her so much. By the time she got to season 16, she's begging for anything.
Yeah.
And in season 2, season 1 marriage, I can't see her begging them to come by the house. Like, if you don't want to come see me, fine, don't come. You know what I mean? I'm having a good time picking up wheelbarrows, just running around my property. So.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be fair. It was like Cody plus I think the Catfish really beat her down too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Catfish did robbing the range. Oops. Allegedly.
You know what? I will keep, because I am just in the thick of this Karen Reed trial. And I got like 3 hours of sleep last night, and I'm just like, my brain is fried. You could tell me all the conspiracy theories right now. I'd be like, yep, I believe it. Robin orchestrated the Catfish. Honestly, I could see it. I've always thought, like Kendra, there was something there, and that was Robin's BFF, and now they're not BFF anymore.
Yeah,
it was all the way to the top.
Yeah, it always to the top.
Sarah's gonna produce a documentary in like 7 years about how like you're gonna find all this evidence about Robin, like how she did the Catfish, and like it's gonna be a hit. Like, I want you to put me on it too.
No one cares anymore. Like, people are gonna be like, "Who's Robin Brown?" And I'm gonna be
right.
And thinking about this for 15 years. And I have the evidence.
Yep.
I'll come out of my cave with my tinfoil hat.
Right. You're tired and crazy. And nobody cares.
Yep.
Robin who? Robin Brown. I'm telling you, I got all the evidence. I got video evidence. I have pictures of her standing and meet with the Catfish, passing off the note. Like, apparently the note's like this big.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be huge.
And I will solve this before one brick is laid on Coyote Pass. I am confident of.
Oh, you got plenty of time because I ain't building jack shit up on that.
No.
You got plenty of time. But they when even talking about like the pumpkin patch, I thought it was funny because even you like you guys made a reference to it, like Logan being responsible for the pumpkin patch. They had said during the time like, "Oh, we're gonna go out and we're gonna pick some pumpkins, and it's gonna be amazing." There's 7 acres of pumpkins, and I thought about that. If there's 7 acres of pumpkins, how many people are walking 7 acres? How many people are gonna walk 100 people? Like, yeah, that's good enough. Grab that one. Let's go.
That's me.
Especially when you have like 15 or what was it? At the time, it was 16 kids.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
For
And none of
some
them got
people,
insurance.
a pumpkin patch for like photos, right? Like a photo op.
Right.
Or the pumpkin patch that we have that's close to our house has like fair type games and stuff, and like stuff for little kids to do. So it's like more activity based. If I just need to get pumpkins, I'm going to the grocery store.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Hit that Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good enough. And then the funniest thing about it is too when they pulled up the kids, and I don't know how you guys feel about this. Are you guys pumpkin carvers? Do you guys carve pumpkins
Is that
for
like a
Halloween?
branded thing? Like I have carved pumpkins.
I
Yeah,
have
no. I mean, like, did you guys do the like just carve up pumpkins? It's not like a business.
I was like, I
You know,
mean, are there
most of
people who are like enthusiasts? Like, yeah, I'm a pumpkin carver.
there actually are.
Yeah, right.
There was I think it was on Discovery Plus. There was like a
tattoos.
pumpkin carving like competition. It was actually pretty interesting. That is way too messy for me. What I like to do is let my daughter like decorate a pumpkin. So we'll paint it,
Okay.
put glitter and all that. I mean, it's still messy, but like I just don't have to put my hand in guts.
You're not
Yeah,
doing
but then
pumpkin
you
guts.
can
Gotcha.
toast the seeds, and then you have
I
like
do
delicious
love
toasted
pumpkin
seeds.
seeds.
Yeah.
Pumpkin seeds are delicious. So I do love pumpkin seeds.
See, it's amazing to me because the one thing I used to do like the pumpkins and stuff with my kids, and the one thing that I noticed when you do like when you go to the pumpkin, like we actually have farms where I'm at, so we go down to the farm and you like have them pick the pumpkins or whatever, and kids inherently will always want to pick the biggest damn pumpkin out there.
Yeah.
And the problem with picking up big ass pumpkins, one, they're heavy. Two, they can be kind of expensive, especially if they're going to, you put them on the scale and they're weighing them big bad boys. I'm not going bad, something else. But they're weighing them and you're paying all this money for a pumpkin that you just going to wind up gutting the hell out of anyway. And inherently, especially depending on how old your kids are, when they get these big pumpkins to carve because they got to have it and it's so amazing and it's going to be so awesome, you're the one who's going to be gutting the pumpkins.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was like, I can't stand gutting pumpkins. It's like I'm gonna do like you do. I'm just gonna paint the outside of it and be done with it because it's like you have to make the walls are super thick. So in order for you to get through the damn thing, you have to shave the walls down. Like it's too much.
And why
So
are the carving utensils like so flimsy? They're the
Right.
worst. Like,
Because they're like trying to make them safe for kids so they don't get sued. So they're like, here's a piece
Good
of
point,
spaghetti.
point.
You can carve
Right.
a pumpkin with a piece of spaghetti, right? Like
I would have to break out like the steak knife. Like I'm going up this thing.
Yeah, I'm going
box
in.
cutter. Yeah.
That's all right. I'll just go out to the garage, grab some of them power tools.
Yeah. Get like a sawzall.
Yeah, right. Give me that sawzall. The gas powered electric stuff.
Blowtorch it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
blowtorch
right.
it.
Oh, but like someone said, the show's called Halloween Wars. I'm telling you guys, like all of that, blowtorch, all that kind of stuff involved in these.
Wow.
And these are like, it's akin to these like bakers that bake these beautiful cakes. It's on the same level. It's like what people can do is crazy.
Right. Well, I mean, there's some creative folks, especially on some of the TV shows.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of those TV shows, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to make a traditional pot of spaghetti," and they'll have like all kinds of shrimp and crap in it. They're like, oh yeah, it has truffles. And like, what?
Yeah, they make their own pasta and stuff like that.
Right,
Like,
right. Like my fresh strewn spaghetti from the finest spinach and parsnips. I'm like, I get a bag of Barilla, a box of Barilla, some Prego,
yeah.
and I'm good to
I
go.
was gonna say Prego, the 3-cheese Prego.
Right?
Oh, I'm a Rouse girl, personally.
Rouse, okay, living that fancy life.
Is it fancy?
I don't know.
Okay.
You're like, Rouse, I'll give it a shot. They got some at the Sam's. But what did you guys think about there was a part where the kids talked about Mary's dominant personality. And I kind of like, as soon as they said that, like, it was like they give you like little, like, when you know what to listen for is like password, because they give you the little clues. Oh, Mary has a dominant personality. Some people call it bossy. Some people will call it, mistreatment, McKelty. So, one of the kids said they refer, like, was it Maddie? I think said, yeah, this is why they kind of referred to her as the first wife. And that was the first time I heard anybody on the show actually refer to one of the wives as the first wife or ordered wife. So, what did you guys think about like the little reference of either the first wife reference for Mary and or her personality where she's dominating everybody and kind of running over folks?
I really think that Mary cares very deeply for all of the kids. With that being said, I think Mary has a very particular vision for how she wants her household to be run. When you're living plural marriage, there can't be like one household, because it's really multiple households and multiple kids, and you're not the biological mother of these kids. So there's always going to be the, like, I went and so my daughter turns 5 in July. She can't ride the school bus to their summer camp field trips until she's 5. So I've been driving her to her school field trips. On Friday, I picked her up from a field trip, and I saw, like, there was a bunch of summer camps that went to this place, and I saw like an adult kind of like pull, I would call it like a yank, another kid. If you're a parent and that's your kid, totally fine. If you are not biologically related to that kid, I don't know. I think that's kind of, I don't know. I'm like, so I think that's where with Mary, I think Mary expected to come in and be like, I'm your mom. And the kids are like, no, you're not.
Right. Another program happening, player. Keep your hands to yourself. It's weird too, because I don't know how you guys grew up. Like, I had it takes a village to raise a child community when I was coming up. So you could get in trouble with the neighbors and the people who are close to you, close to your family. So it wasn't like, I mean, nobody was running out ripping you up, but you could be corrected by other people in the neighborhood. Whereas now, that's like a huge no. Like, now it's almost like the teachers get in trouble for correcting kids. Like, who you think you talking to? Tell my child that they can't stand on top of the desk. Little Johnny has to be a free spirit.
It's such a fine line, because there's definitely that give and take. Like, some parents, they don't want you speaking above a whisper to their perfect little angel. It's like they just keep it realistic, like how kids are. And then there's the others that's like, well, like, just spank him. Like, if he's acting out, don't call me, just spank him.
Yeah, this is just millennials like swinging the pendulum back. Like, I got my butt beat with a belt. Like, and so I kind of understand who the parents who are like, let my child stand on the desk. Like, we're just swinging the pendulum back,
Right. You gonna leave my little angel alone. You're going to dampen their spirits. Like the one thing I will say, I can see a scenario where, because I think like looking at the entirety of the family, one, you start to put in the elements of it's not Mary's kids, and then on top of that, she feels a certain way because she's having trouble conceiving additional children, and then on top of that, you have the social pressure that she receives, cultural pressure that she receives because that's the only job and purpose of a woman is to have babies, apparently, and
Yeah.
she's not doing that. So she's failing. And there's a constant reminder of how much she's failing because these women apparently are walking around and flaunting their fertility. And so, like, I think that she has a lot of that she can combat with. And so I can see a world, and I'm not saying that this is true, but I can see a world where that might influence how much or how little she disciplines the other kids. So and that's where it gets kind of weird because that's one of the things that Christine actually insinuated with her disagreement early on with Meri and how she was doing with her kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And yeah, pick that up from the book. Like she talks about it more extensively in the book. She makes reference to it in the series though. Like she
Mm-hmm.
talks about it. But what do you guys think that that's a possibility? Like that maybe Meri was a little heavy-handed with the kids, or do you think that it's just something that maybe the Brown family were to protect? Because I could also, just to balance it out, I could also see a world where because you guys don't get along and there is the competition that's built into the polygamous family where you're sharing a husband and you don't want this one, hell, you can't share a kitchen. And they can't tell you where to put the salt and pepper. So you can't tell me what to do with my children.
Mm-hmm.
So is that a thing? Like, what I mean? What are your guys' thoughts like between the two?
From what I've heard the kids describe, like Peyton and Gwen, from both like Cody and like discipline that came from Cody and Meri. In my opinion, I think it crossed the line from like discipline to mistreatment. My personal opinion.
Mm,
And McKelty certainly is of that opinion too. What's interesting is Peyton and Gwen especially have categorized Meri, like they validated McKelty's feelings and said, yeah, we see. Actually, I think Gwen actually has a pretty good relationship with Meri, but she has admitted to having seen her get physical with McKelty at least one time. But
mm,
they've described physical discipline that their dad has perpetrated on them, and they don't view it as mistreatment. Yet they view what Meri did as mistreatment.
wow. Wow. Okay.
Well,
Yeah, that
you
kind of
were
puts it in
asking earlier, you were like, "Oh, do you think she's heavy-handed?" And to me, the scene where I know that's not the episode we're talking about, but when she yells at all of the kids for being mean to Robin's kids and she
Mhm.
doesn't like make sure she like finds the perpetrators, to me that is like a heavy-handed like verbal yelling when you're including people who didn't do anything mean to the kids. And so like I feel like when you're a kid, like you're like, okay, there's first of all, for sure there's other stuff going on behind when the cameras aren't there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So and Meri even says like oh, the cameras busted me yelling at the kids, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, she said something like
Right.
that.
But when you're a kid, that type of injustice can bring out such strong emotions. And so if she's also on top of, if she's like sometimes punishing everyone for the sins of a few, and then also being like very verbally aggressive, and then also physically, sometimes it's like that's
Mhm.
valid. That's their viewpoint is
Right.
valid to me.
Mhm.
Wow. Well, that's an excellent point. I never really thought about that, but you're right. Because I could see it. Because my my daughter has a very strong sense of justice, fairness, and the way the world should work. Like she's very orderly. We'll say it that way. And she would have been one of the kids who would have taken it personally. Like my daughter would have taken it extremely personal if she wasn't doing something and somebody came down and started yelling at her, even if it's in a group setting, about doing this thing and not, you better not do this. If I come down and I see you doing this, she would have took that crazy person. Like I wasn't doing that. Why was she yelling at me? I didn't have nothing to do with it. If she would have asked me, I would have told her. You know what I mean? And there's kind of an old saying that the old folks used to have when I was a kid, when I was a baby, that if you don't have time to discipline your kids right, then don't do it. Like, so if you don't have time to get down and find out what's going on and actually dig into what's happening, don't jump in and start trying to discipline folks, because it's not solving the problem. You're not making things better. If anything, ironically, I think, to kind of tag off of what you said, Amanda, I think you can destroy the morale of children who aren't doing something wrong and maybe trying to do the right thing. And you're actually empowering kids who are doing the wrong thing because they're not getting in trouble. They're actually getting away with it. Like I did, and everybody got in trouble. And then, because people who breaking the rules or the laws don't care. Like, obviously they don't care. And if I'm not getting in trouble, then what? On to the next caper. So yeah, but I can appreciate that. If you don't have the time to actually sit down, like that was one of my big things. Like I was kind of like Sarah, you say you watch some of the court shows. One of the big things lawyers will always say is never ask a question that you don't know the answer to. And most of the time that I would talk to my kids about any type of discipline, I would already have a lot of the information. Like I've already done interviews, I've already talked to people. So when I'm talking to you, I pretty much know what's going on. So it's not really like I'm asking you because I need you to fill me in. I'm asking you because I'm really trying to weigh like how honest you're being with me about what you're telling me, at that point. So like it's just a different, and this could just be a different form of parenting. Like, not everybody does things the same way.
Yeah, so I was going to say, Meri did grow, I mean, not to be whatever, but I see people being like, oh, that was mad in the chat, or mild. Some people in the chat are like, that what Meri did is mild compared to like, some stuff. I hear that. I totally hear that. And also like times change and, I certainly don't view Meri, nothing we saw on the show as like, oh, that was over the line, like cancel Meri. So it's just, we don't know because we don't know the details. So.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And I think, go ahead, James. Go ahead.
No, please.
I lost my train of thought. So
okay. I found you out, right? I glitched you. But with that, I would say that the one caveat is always a concern. Like if I were to see Cody, like when I saw Cody standing on the porch, yelling and screaming, talking about knifing the kidneys and all that stuff, to me, that gave a little pause. And I'll say this, because you can say, well, Cody was, because I've heard creators actually make the argument that Cody wasn't doing anything wrong. He was just merely expressing himself when he was standing on the porch, yelling and screaming and flipping out about Christine leaving. He was hurt. He was expressing his emotions, and that's what was going on. I kind of take it from a different perspective, just from the thing of, I'm not saying that you can accuse somebody of something based on something that you see on one of the shows, but I am saying that it could be indicative of another problem, because in that instance, the same way, if you'll yell at her like that on TV, that shows comfortability to me. And if you yell at her in public like that, I'm concerned what you're saying to her in private and how you're addressing her in private when the cameras aren't around. Because even though Meri took him around the corner and was kind of barking at him, she knew the cameras were there. It's not like she didn't realize the cameras were there. Like, and some people take you home and do terrible things, Like you'll be having that argument or whatever, the husband or the wife or the mom or dad, like back in the day, mom or dad, mom cut you that look. Jack, you get some exercise when you get home.
For us, it was always when the middle name came out, it was like you knew it was some serious business. Like, I just got Sarah Janed. Ah!
Yeah, right. For the rest of the night, you just sit there saying, what's wrong with you? Oh, man, I'm going to go home with these people. So then you get the lecture in the car. Didn't I tell you to behave yourself? Oh, so now you don't know how to act?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't worry about it. We're going to talk about it when we get home. I don't want to talk about it when we get home. I'm going to go to
anything
bed.
but that.
Right?
No,
I'm
can we please talk
sleepy.
about it now?
Yeah.
Right?
Let's talk about it now in front of everyone. I need witnesses.
Yeah, right.
Don't take me home.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and leave, y'all. No, we don't need to leave. Or wait till I get you
I'll be
home.
good. We can stay. No, please.
Right. I'm not trying to ruin your good time, Mom. Father, would you like something else to drink? Can I get you another cocktail, perhaps?
Here, I made some crackers.
My daughter, when she knows like she just did something she shouldn't, it's all of a sudden it's, oh, Mom, you're so pretty. Dad, what do you need? Like,
Oh yeah, when they started play with your hair. Oh, you're so pretty.
Yeah. I'll be right back, guys. I have to grab my computer charger. So I'll be
Okay, no worries.
Hold on.
Yeah, but I had more than my share. I was a rambunctious child.
Me too.
So I had more than my fair of talks.
Same. And I got talks from everybody, from the principal, the teacher, the Sunday school teacher, my my aunts and uncles. I was naughty. As the British would say.
Naughty.
Ornery. I got ornery a lot. You ornery girl.
Right. You're ornery. Yeah. How dare you have opinions and thoughts of your own? Yeah. And I think that might actually be some of it too. Is that the they grow up in a world where maybe we just don't understand a lot of this stuff. And I might look at it and be like, why is everybody tripping? It's not that big a deal. But in their world, especially with some of the girls, like I'm sure that they're trying to already kind of shape them into the people that they want them to be, even at a younger age. So I don't know. But that was a good point, though. I never really thought about it, the injustice of it all. And even the fact that she did go around the corner and yell at everybody about Robin's kids. And it's ironic she did it about Robin's kids and not like, make sure you're treating, Christine's kids with justice and fairness as well. And Janelle's children, who probably were the ringleaders. Like if in the order of things, I can see Janelle's kids kind of being the ringleaders of like some of the troublemakers because they were all very outspoken children or independent children.
Yeah, you know what's interesting? Somebody, I think it was Scara, maybe. I'm way earlier in the chat was like, well, they dropped off Robin's like domesticated kids into these like wild, chaotic kids. Like, I was like, yeah, there is a difference sometimes between how like just you can have a totally different upbringing and like that was clashing. Those kids were just eaten alive. They were so weak. Right.
Yeah. Those kids were not ready. They were not ready to be involved with the Brown kids. Like, and it's not even a shot really at either party. Like, it's just that they grew up two different ways with the different understandings of the world, and they can even be I think that there's a point where it could even be attributed to the fact that in the OG3's kids, the original OG13 kids, you have a Brown, like the father's involved and the moms, and you have a certain level of security. Whereas with Robin, because she was having difficulty with her husband and in the separation and divorce, and then her trying to figure it out on her own, I can see a world where that might lead you to be more protective. You try to have control over things. That
hey, James, control. I think Sarah's trying to get back in. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh,
there we go.
I'm sorry. I don't know. Amanda, how do you, we could talk about this offline, but I couldn't figure out how to add myself back. So I don't, anyways, sorry guys.
Yeah, that was weird.
Thanks, chat.
You can just jump back in. Yeah.
I don't know what
All
happened.
I could do was like change my avatar. I don't know.
Yeah.
Y'all, we're figuring it out. Somebody in the chat was like, oh, Amanda hasn't had any issues. I'm like, I'm knocking on so much wood. I am about to have so many issues.
Yeah. Today is great for Amanda. That's like challenging the computer. Computer's like, oh no, we're just saving it up for the critical moment. Hold my beer. But so we talked about the the kids and Meri. What about Christine? Like, because we talked a little bit about Meri. Christine actually had a revelation where she said that Halloween is her favorite holiday. And I couldn't help but to think about the comparison between like Halloween is my favorite holiday. However, we can't celebrate Easter because that's a pagan holiday. So I was a little confused as to why they were allowed to celebrate Halloween, but Easter. Maybe you guys can help me out.
That's actually a good point, James, because they weren't celebrating. They weren't celebrating any of these holidays. I think they celebrated Joseph Smith's birthday. They celebrated like Passover because Cody co-opted Jewish traditions. And I think they celebrated Christmas, but they didn't celebrate any other holidays. Many of the kids have talked about the fact that's one of the good things that Robin brought to the family was them being able to celebrate holidays. So I think that this is a farce by Christine. She might have like internally loved Halloween, but I don't think she ever externally celebrated it. I don't know.
Right.
This is how my parents were. Like, I don't know what they're thinking. Like, Santa Claus is okay, but Halloween is not. Because when I was a kid, I had to call it Fall Festival. My parents were like, do not say the word Halloween. I was like, what's going to happen if I say the word Halloween? I did not understand. I don't know.
Fall Festival. Festivus.
No, I'm serious. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just like, yeah, isn't that crazy? And continue, James. Yeah.
The elementary school that I went to, we could dress up as Bible characters for Halloween.
That was it?
Sweet.
That was it.
Including the devil?
Okay.
Oh, good point. Okay. I never tried to push it that far.
Yeah. That's how you get to, that'll be a parent-teacher conference. Like, little Tommy came in, he was Lucifer.
Yeah, that would get you. So growing up, so I grew up Lutheran, and Reformation Day is November 1st. So Halloween kind of had this other religious context in the church that I grew up in. So my mom just always told us to keep it like not devils and stuff like that. I could be anything else.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, and it's funny because I definitely had like not close family, like distant family, that we all were up in Northern California visiting family, and they were there at the same time, and it was around Halloween. I was in elementary school, and their kids couldn't go out and trick or treat, and I was like, that is so sad.
Same. I wasn't allowed to trick or treat either. I did eventually sneak out and trick or treat, but yeah, they didn't want me doing it. Yeah, but you know what? We couldn't be devils or witches, but they dressed my sister up as Judge Ito, and that was fine. And they also had us one time. I was Nancy Kerrigan and she was Tanya Harding, and she came in with a piece of wood and like tried to break my leg, even though that's not accurate to what happened. Like, yeah, all that was fine, but no witches hats.
I like your parents' creativity there, though.
Yeah, they were like, they're like awesome pictures, but
like, but yeah, I think maybe because with Christine, maybe her parents had let her, because remember with the whole Easter debacle, it was the holiday that the wives had celebrated prior to joining the Brown family, but the minute they came into the Brown family, much like the earrings and everything else, that was something that they had to give up in order to appease Cody. So maybe it was something that she loved doing before Cody. And then, like you said, when Robin comes in, Robin's like, well, my kids celebrate Halloween, and I guess we'll go to my mother's house. No, baby, please, no, stay. Get the trees, get the pumpkins, you know, so.
And isn't it so interesting? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Just Lizzie B, $5 super chat. Amanda, what do you personally think about polygamy? Do you believe there are more cons than pros, or vice versa? Would you be able to handle 4 wives?
No, are you crazy? I like, not to be like a cliche monogamous that gets interviewed, because like, you know, every time they interview these monogamists, they're like, I can barely handle my
Right.
one wife. That's
Right,
how
right.
I feel. I can barely handle my one wife, who I love very much. But no, I could not.
Love you, baby.
There's
Can
no
I
way
share with
I
you
would
guys?
crack.
So my husband and I, going back to this Karen Reed trial, I've been heavily invested in it. The victim in this case, he took in his niece and nephew because his sister died of a brain tumor in like 2013. Then her husband died of a heart attack like 2 months later. So these kids were orphaned, like
Wow.
horribly tragic. Me being the person I am, I'm like, "Oh, but isn't that like kind of romantic? He like died of a broken heart." And I'm like looking at my husband, I'm like, why won't you die of a broken heart? Like, I'm like, what are you gonna like live and like get remarried and like whatever?
Wait, how dare you be happy after I'm gone?
Yeah.
I am your happiness. Like what?
And my husband's like, this is the most ridiculous conversation.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys ever had that conversation because I've said that before. Like, if something happens to me, don't sit around and spend the rest of your days crying about me. Like, go out and make yourself happy. Like, I'm a big fan. Like, not a big fan of it. Like, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, I'm single. But like, if something happens to me, I'd rather you go out and live your life. Find somebody who's worthy of your time. Don't go out and just act wild because I'm gone. But anytime I bring that up, she loses it. Like, why are you even talking like that? Well, I don't have that opinion. You should die alone. I'm like, what?
I'm team your wife, James.
So I don't agree with that. I'm like, I want you to be happy. I don't want you happy.
Just wait till the body's cold first is all I ask. Like
Right.
Cody is not even waiting until these women are out the door. He is already cycling new bodies through.
Yeah. Like they don't even have a cold or nothing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying bring somebody to my funeral. Like, I'm not, don't be pretend to swipe it over the casket. Like, now we're going to lower them. Oh, look, a match. Like, don't do that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying give it a little time. But you don't have to be sad always. Like, I think it's, and even talking about, like, the whole holiday thing and the way they did the holidays, it's weird to me when they did the dress up. All of a sudden, Cody went from the wives were determined. We're going to be the elements, earth, air, fire, and what was it? Earth, air, fire, and what?
Water, I think.
Water. There you go. Water. And the kids had no idea what the parents were. Yeah. I don't know. I think my mama's earth. No, your mom's not earth. My mother's earth. Like, or water and air. Like between Christine and Robin, the kids are ready to get into a fist fight because their mamas are the water. And Cody at this time, like, what did you guys think about the fact that Cody had no idea what he was? Because he started out saying, I'm going to be Sammy Hagar.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, I'm going to be like, so he went through like 3 or 4 different things before it was all over. What did you guys think about that?
Classic Cody. I think it's less about like what he is and more like how can I like get the most attention? Because didn't Christine want him to be like the son or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he wound up being. Like, he wound up being the son.
Yeah.
Cody and Meri looked like crackheads. Robin and Christine looked like they just like doodled on their face, like, that was nothing.
Right.
And then Janelle looked awesome. Her Earth costume to me was like, that was a good Earth costume. Which
is weird though, because if you'd have said, like, you laid all of them out, they were all like Pokemon cards, right? You laid all of them out. I got a Christine. And you'd laid all of them out. I would have guessed that Christine would have had the most creative costume. But they both, like, all of them, like you said, all of them their costumes were pretty tame, but Janelle actually went all out with she got the leaves and she had the whole shebang. Like, she actually put it together. And like even with Christine and Robin, with their face paint, I kind of thought of it more like a deranged, like Gene Simmons from Kiss, like the way they did their the face paint.
You
Like
mean
it's
Cody and
kind
Meri?
of there, but it's not quite there. Or Christine, well, because they had like the little stars.
I thought
on
that was
the
Cody and
eyebrows.
Meri, and Christine and Robin had like blue doodles.
Yeah. They had the little blue doodles, the blue doodlings. That's what I say in the range. So
Oh.
I wasn't really Cody's hair because he started out, and that was one of the things I noted too, because it was kind of implied later on that Robin was saying that his hair, like he said, like with the curls, the ringlets that he has now, he holds it out as like this is not a perm. Like Robin showed me a special trick where I could just take a shower and I scrunch it, and then I make these curls like this. This is how I get my curly locks. And meanwhile, Christine is standing there trying to do like the ringlets, like she's trying to curl his hair individually. So like, what happened?
James, I swear, before this podcast, I was like, or this live stream, I was like, do I have enough time to do that to my hair? Because I thought that would just be so epic. But surely that took Christine like an hour to do.
Yeah.
Right. And his jackass took it right out. He took it right out. He's like a little kid. That's what happened. Like, you take my daughter for stuff and she'd get her hair done and she'd try to take it out almost immediately. Like, hey, you gotta leave that in there as much as I put in your head. You holding that hairstyle for a minute. Like, trust and believe me what I tell you.
After my wedding, I came home. I took my I had like clip-in extensions, took those out, took my eyelashes off. I was like a completely different person at the end of the day. It was like Cinderella when the clock struck midnight and I went back into my
right, back to the pumpkin patch.
Yeah,
it's kind of like it was like a witness protection thing. Like
exactly.
All of a sudden you're a different person. Hide your identity. But I that was actually I didn't realize it at the time, but now I'm kind of know what I'm looking for, I guess. That was when Christine did his hair like that. That was the first time they pulled it really close and tight, and you could actually see like how much hair he actually has. Like, so I didn't realize how bad it was that early on. Like, as far as like his MPB, that's the male pattern baldness. For those who are unaware,
I give Cody credit as someone who is like fiercely resisting going bald. He does a lot with his hair to make it appear, because there of course will be like screenshots posted to Reddit of like, oh, did you see this like screen grab, and like you can see it. And it's like, wow, like I didn't know it was that bad, because like you can't really tell the way Cody styles his hair. So I will give it to him that he does a lot to to make it. And as someone, I don't know if he's the kind of guy who would ever do like a hair piece or extensions or anything like that, but with just his hair, he is an illusionist.
Right. He's making it happen.
Yeah.
Well, because I'll give him credit. Like you, I think I'll give him credit on that front, because I understood. Like once he went to the curls or whatever, I knew what it was. Like it's a way for you to fill out, because that's what he used to do. That's why he had like the surfer dude hairstyle, because he was trying to fill out spaces. And I understood that, and I give him credit. Like, look, I mean, it's not my issue. Clearly, it's not my issue. But I can respect the fact I have friends and family who does have that issue, and it is a struggle. Like it can hurt. It can hurt your, I guess a lot of folks don't really care because they see how much damage he's wrought on the self-esteem of his wives.
Yeah.
So they kind of see it as like a karmatic, like, that's karma coming, baby, killing the fifth wife on you. But I think that like for the normal guy,
Robin.
yeah. But for a normal guy, I can see where that could hurt you. Like that'll hurt your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Because my husband will be bald eventually. That's a hard thing for me. Yeah. That's it could be a rough piece. Literally, it could be a rough piece.
How Christine is now married to a bald man. Meri Amos was bald, right?
What did you call him?
Amos?
Did you call him? Oh, okay. I think you call him Amos. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, Amos.
I was like, damn.
not so famous Amos.
Yeah,
I feel like he was bald too, but isn't it funny how obsessed with hair was Cody that all these women are like, just give me a guy who's embracing the bald. Like,
right.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, it was so annoying. He would take like 9 hours and then they would just be like dying for like hunger.
The anniversary episode where he was going like trying to like scrunch his hair and it was like, whoa.
Right, yeah. And it's weird too because it's like I guess when you're with somebody like that, it's almost like you date somebody who is completely obsessed with going to the gym, and then you're with that, and you have that, and you say, you know what? I want somebody who don't care about the gym no more.
Yeah.
Like maybe they go twice, 2-3 times a week, and that's it. They're not in there 5-6 days a week, 4-5 hours. I want somebody who's just going in there, maybe play around on the treadmill for 20 minutes, go to Planet Fitness and get on one of the hydro beds and come on out. Like that's what I mean.
James, you're just giving us your dating profile here. This is so specific.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah, right. My wife catch a cold, you know what to do. Just go down to Planet Fitness for 30 minutes. You know what I mean? 20 of them on the treadmill. Hell, 10 could be walking around the building, like tapping on your phone. But they have they also had the incident where, and this is like the first real conversation about the fear of the police being in the area, because they said, oh, the police were out front and they're kind of circling around and the kids are letting us know the cops are out there. And as it turned out, Cody butt dialed them. And I'm like, why does Cody have 911? Like, why would that be a thing? So do you guys know, can that happen? Like, have you guys ever called the police by mistake?
I normally would be like, what an idiot, but I have literally butt dialed 911.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I immediately noticed it and was like, hang up. But it's happened to me.
I used to have.
And then they call you back.
I used to have a Chevy Trax, and when I bought the car, it had OnStar, and like I accidentally like initiated OnStar once, and they were like, beep boop beep, like, everything okay? And I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I don't know what to do. But your phone can go into like emergency only mode. So I would love to hear from a 911 operator how often they get butt dialed.
Well, they record those calls, so I wonder what they're talking about. Like, because even with Siri, like sometimes Siri, or if you have an Android, if you say people's names, like I've had that. Like you'll be talking about somebody and all of a sudden the phone calls them. Like, oh, you must want to speak to them. Like, you know what I mean?
Nightmare fuel.
Right. I'll tell you though, that's why I say, like, growing up, like I have a rule, like you don't say nothing behind somebody's back that you wouldn't say in front of their face, because inevitably something silly like that's gonna happen. Like your phone's gonna call them up. I heard what you said about me. Man, I was just practicing what I was gonna say to you last week.
That wasn't me. That was like my voiceover double.
Right.
It actually kind of makes me upset at the adults, because we could talk about like the detriment of like putting your family on reality TV, but like what they did to these kids here was like cruel and unusual punishment. Like this was not necessary. They were not in jeopardy of even being prosecuted, and Cody was not in jeopardy of being imminently carted off to prison. And they made these kids leave in like the dead of night, not tell anyone, starting new schools. Like this was really messed up. The wives just were like, yep, let's do this. This is what we have to do.
Yeah, let's go along with it. It's fine. And that's actually something that was mentioned. That's a good point, because one of the things that was talked about when they said that was, a lot of the teenagers, they see the police different now. And when they see a police officer on the block, riding around, they'll call back to the house and tell them that they're in the area. And, there is a weirdness where you're taking your problems and transferring them over to your kids. Like something that they shouldn't, like your kids shouldn't be worried about that.
Yeah.
And like you said, like if the cops are coming, it doesn't matter if your kids call the house or not. Like this ain't the Dukes of Hazzard. It ain't like they gonna call the house and then Robin and gonna come sliding across the roof of the car and jump in the passenger seat and take off. You know what I mean? And they lead them like on a high speed chase, and all of a sudden they do the General League ramp jump across like some river and escape.
That's what they made it seem like when they moved. Like that's what they made it seem like. Like Robin was gonna be like, "Oh, hang on to your butts."
And these, like, I remember Peyton's face when he's like, "We're leaving," and oh yeah, you can't tell anyone, and oh yeah, we're leaving Monday, and it's like Friday when he's telling them,
right?
And Peyton's just sitting there like, "What? Like what's happening?"
Yeah, all those friends you spent all that time with, yeah, F them. Like that's basically what it is. Like, and we're gonna leave in the middle of the night. Like you said, strap in, kids, because we about to shake and bake. Like what?
Yeah.
Like let's just go to speed limit on these below skin ass tires so we don't die in a fiery wreck or wind up in the tree somewhere. Like take it easy, Coltrane. Like I don't know. I think that is a point where they put so much because they wanted to try to add to the drama, but it's one thing for the parents to kind of play into that storyline, but I do think that it can be a little bit more form of mistreatment if you're putting your kids into that storyline because they don't know the difference. Yeah. They don't know, like you're telling them like, oh, they're gonna come and take your dad away, and that's why you got to keep your mouth shut. Like, what are you scaring them for?
Yeah.
If it's something that's going to happen, it's going to happen. And even then, you try to shield them from it as much as possible.
We're talking about true crime. I've literally seen people like in handcuffs telling like their family members, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. Like as they're getting like carted off to jail, they're trying to like reassure their family that it's going to be okay. Meanwhile, we have Cody. Absolutely nothing is wrong. And he's like, oh my God, you guys, I basically better go turn myself in. I should just dial 911 in my pants. Like,
I thought about that. I was like, this is why, because I occasionally I'll joke around and tell, like, this is why I could never commit crimes with certain folks. Like, could you imagine you sit there at your evil lair, but coming up with your plan and your stuff, and you got the plan going, and all of a sudden Cody pulls out his phone, like, oh, I accidentally buttoned out the police. What? Man, it's a criminal enterprise. Why do you even have your phone? Like, you call 911? You don't even record those calls.
Supposed to call the police when we're about to commit a crime.
Yeah, right. And he's screaming, prank caller, prank caller.
What's funny is in like 2024, there actually are like idiot criminals out there who will like record themselves committing crimes and be like, boom, I put this on TikTok. Yeah.
Isn't there a show?
Now you got like, all my crimes.
Criminals or something?
Yeah, right.
What was that, Sarah?
Isn't there a show called like World's Dumbest Criminals or something? And it's all like.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, now it's called Facebook.
Yeah.
And Instagram. That's
that's
a show. It's messed up when social media has actually terminated a TV show because people are doing it for free.
Yeah.
We used to have to hire producers to put it together and editors and find go out and seek the coverage and stuff of the dumbest criminals. And even then they'd have to tell you, because I used to watch that show, they have to tell you like the backstory. Now the guys are just getting on TV, roll the phone. Guess what, y'all? We about to break into this bank sucker.
Let's see what happens when I break into a Target.
Right. You know me and my boys. This is Rollo Jones. Like, why are you giving your whole name? You giving your whole government name, you dumbass. And the best part is when they get arrested and they get charged, all of a sudden they want to sit there and say, this stuff should be excluded.
Yeah.
They had no right to get my tape that I put on social media for everybody to see that has over 1 million views. How did they find out?
Honestly, like that's the Ruby Frankie, the mom vlogger who just got sentenced to, I don't know, however many years in jail. Like she was the biggest dumbass. Her entire channel was a channel of her mistreating her kids. So it's like,
right.
they really didn't have to like go very far to say, oh yeah, what you're accused of, it checks out. We just watched like some of your videos.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then not only was she doing it, but she was instructing other people how to do it. Like what?
Yeah.
Like this is like the I don't know. Yeah, I won't go too crazy with it, but yeah.
I wanted to
go off the rails.
TLC just announced on Instagram. Well, I saw it on Instagram. There is going to be a show called Forbidden Love coming out. It starts July 21st, and it's in the Sunday 10 o'clock 9 time slot, which is the Sister Wives time slot. So I'm thinking that show is going to take us into Sister Wives season 19 after that show wraps. But it's interfaith couples, like, but couples who are not just like kind of Christian or like kind of Jewish. These are like Orthodox Jews, an Amish person. Like it looks like it's gonna be really good. I'm really excited.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you know what? To be honest with you, when you said Forbidden Love on TLC, TLC does not have a good track record as far as like.
It's not going to be MILF Manor 3. It's not going to be that.
That sounds like.
But, yeah, no, I was like, oh, I'm actually intrigued. Now, TLC has a reputation of taking an interesting concept and totally messing it up. So I got to see at least the first episode, but that was part of like what with 90 Day Fiance, part of what was so fascinating is like the culture mesh of it all. And how do these people seemingly never paid much attention to things like being of completely different religions and how that would, and now it's like that is the theme of the show. I am here for it.
Right. Well, I mean, it could be like Garrison, not Garrison, Garrett. The Garrick love affair where he dates a Muslim girl and she starts asking about the hijab. He's like, well, I don't know, because I'm really interested in seeing your beauty. That's why I wear the hijab, jackass.
Right. To avoid creepers like you.
right. And she's about to fall off the end of the couch.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
He was so gross in that scene. He was like, oh, yeah. He was like sexualized. It was just like, ugh.
Yeah.
And
so what do you like?
No, this is not about religion at all for Garrick. Because if the woman's religion does not matter to you, then it is not about religion for you.
Right.
Yeah. Because I'm waiting for him to pull up with a Satanist. Like, you know what I mean? I just gotta be right there on par.
Jasmine from the Davis clan, where with her like paganism and like all that, of her feeling blue in all of its glory or whatever.
Right. The deepest blue, the most purest of blues. Because as you get more blue, like if you say blue one more damn time, we don't have a problem. I'm taking your drink. Like I think you've had enough. Like that's usually when it happens. Like, it's the deepest of blues. Yeah, you've had enough. We're gonna go ahead and take that from you. You got your car keys? Yeah, pass those over. Like, because you're not getting me locked up. Okay, yeah. So we talking about the first time Cody rolled his hair up, the perm time, and he said he was the rock star clown. That's when he felt more like a rock star clown instead of like a demented Sammy Hagar or Kiss person. He said he was a rock star clown. And what do you guys think about the last thing I mentioned? What do you guys think about Cody hitting the kids candy as they were coming in? like he started, like the kids would come back, they would go out, hit some houses, and they would come back, and he started cracking their bags open and start pulling out candy so he could eat it. Was that you guys' experience with your parents We carry your parents candy
so
pirates.
mad at my dad for like taking my candy, like if I ever had any. I'm still to this day, it would make me so mad.
My mom would inspect the candy because of whatever like 80s and early 90s like terror was out there, that they were putting like knives in like packs of Skittles or something.
Yeah.
But
razor
so my
blades.
mom would like look it over, and there was always that like weird house that gave you just like a handful of loose M&Ms, like thanks. But yeah, but no, my mom never like took my candy. But that's such a Cody, like a classic Cody move. Classic.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was weird because like I know like in my house like I'll do the candy dispersal, and my wife used to take the kids around into the neighborhood, and it always kind of struck me that if I went to the store, and depending on where I was, like if I was trying to cut weight or diet or whatever, then I would just get candy that the kids would like that isn't my favorite. You know what I mean? But I would always get candy that we eat in the house. Like I would, if I wanted candy, I would just stand there and eat my candy. I wouldn't, hey guys, what you get? What kind of take we looking at? Like, what's the breakdown? I wouldn't put their kid like the candy out. I also come from that time. Back in the olden days where they checked candy heavy because it was razor blades and I think there was an incident where some people were putting razor blades in some of the chocolate candy. And then they would. I think there was always like a terror. I don't know if it actually happened, or if it was like an urban tale that they would open up the candy and then like dip it in rat poison or whatever, and then close it back up, seal it back up. So that's where the whole like gotta check the candy because there's lunatics out there. Which is what do you guys? Well, here's a little thing. What do you guys think about like some of the traditions that we have? Because we have traditions with kids that are counterintuitive. Like, so for instance, we tell kids don't talk to strangers. Damn sure don't take no candy from strangers, except for Halloween. And then Christmas. Don't talk to strangers. Don't ever chill with strangers. Then all of a sudden, Christmas roll around. Hey, here's a guy wearing a red suit. Go sit on his lap. You know what I mean? So it's like a weird place. But what do you guys think about like the dichotomy? Maybe Cody was on to something when he was trying to say don't celebrate these holidays.
It is, well, it's kind of like what Amanda was saying, like how like you take this hard stance on like Easter, but like Santa Claus and Christmas, and I guess Cody really in general, from what like Robin has said on the show, was just against like the commercialization of like religious holidays. But it is funny, James, like all the things we're taught like as parents to like protect our children on Halloween. It's just like do the opposite. Like
right.
Go to that stranger's house. Right. And nowadays like trunk or treating is becoming a lot more popular, which I personally love because I'd rather walk down like 2 aisles of cars than go through like 3 blocks of houses to get like the same amount of candy.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, as an avid and candy enthusiast, I think it makes perfect sense that we let our kids just get much. But no, I don't. Yeah, no, it makes no sense. But I love candy, so in the candy world,
I'm totally team. Let's go to CVS on November 1st and get all the half price candy. Like,
oh yeah, hit them hard,
not harder.
right. Like, God be damned, we're going to get some of this good half-price candy. We get some of that clearance candy. That's when the kids get the airheads.
Yeah. There would always be, oh my gosh, for some reason, there'd always be a house that gave raisins for Halloween.
Oh, gross.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
They had a lady who gave out pennies.
Who gave out whaties?
Gave out pennies, like little pennies. Yeah, it was crazy. Like, who wants all these pennies, lady? Like, you gonna mess up my candy, blow a hole in my bag.
Yeah, because money is dirty. Like it's disgusting.
Right.
So having that in your like candy loot is wow.
Right. At least give me a nickel. Like, you know what I mean? Give me a nickel. Don't just drop 3 of them bad boys in there and just send me on my way. Like, let's make it worthwhile. Come on. And even nowadays, I don't even know if half these kids know what a penny look like.
I mean, not to be that old person, but like kids these days are like, kids get like full size candy bars these days. Like they're so freaking lucky.
Yeah.
There's actually my neighbor gives out full candy bars.
Lots of people do in my neighborhood too. I'm like, oh man, I wish I was a kid.
They're awesome. Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll pull a Cody going down to, going down to 4 houses over. They give out that good stuff. Yeah.
Listen, it's cool. Parents, do the parent tax, okay? But don't do what my dad did. Please don't like take the best candy and leave your kid like the worst. Like leave some good candy.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't leave the what do you call that stuff? The candy corn. Why would you get candy corn? Don't nobody like candy corn. Candy corn is from the devil. That's the true celebration of the pagan holiday, Halloween.
Yeah. Somehow candy corn and Peeps, like at Easter time, have like survived and nobody likes them.
Right. Yeah. Peeps.
Yeah, it's like every year you see Peeps and candy corn.
Right.
Who's eating this?
And it's always that question, like, who the hell is buying this? Like, and they'll have like shelves, and I've never really thought about it, but they would have shelves of like the good stuff, Snickers and like the all that, but they would have like the Peeps would be gone. Like, so I guess maybe they just storm like until next year, children. Like, I don't know, like between the Peeps and the candy corn, maybe that candy corn was out in like 1954 and just keeps recycling it.
Yeah.
I know people who eat Peeps, but I don't know. I've never seen anyone eat candy corn. I don't know who's eating that.
Yeah.
I still like candy corn, but it's like wax. It's basically wax.
Yeah.
I've only known one person who actually liked candy corn.
Yeah.
Inzadi in the chat.
Yeah. Who's it?
No shade if that's your jam. We don't want to yuck anyone's yum.
Right.
I mean, we kind of are, but
someone said Necco wafers or those Naco wafers. Those are weird too.
Yeah.
That's like
you know what?
talk.
That's the little vanilla wafers, right?
No, they're like it's almost like a very thin Tums, but it doesn't give you heartburn relief. It's just yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I guess maybe they don't sell those in my store, my neck of the woods.
Yeah, they would come like their wrapping was really old school too. I remember Necco wafers.
This is say candy corn, more like candle corn. Down there, I see what chat thinking.
True.
I remember in elementary school, my teacher had like guess how many candy corns were in a jar, and you'd like win the jar, and it's like nobody wanted the jar of candy corn.
Yeah, I'm good. Is that like a diminished rip-off version of pick how many jelly beans are in the bucket or whatever? Yes, the candy corn.
We lost Amanda.
Yeah. I guess that's the. Yeah,
but if
you know
she
what?
figures out how to add herself back, I'm gonna be. I don't know what my issue was. She always finds a way to add herself back.
This is the man face while frozen.
Yeah, she has like an hour and 30 minutes, and then her system crashes.
You're right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she's in witness protection.
Could
they
be.
got like that prison time on her, John. Like she can't be tracked. Wow. Because it does hit like pretty steady. It's not even like roundabout. Like it does it like right on, almost on time every time.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh! Someone said you can deep fry Peeps. What? Maybe that makes them better.
Yeah. It probably would make them better. But you know what? I'm at that age now. I'm at that point now where not even age, just at that point with my health journey that I don't need one more thing. Like I refuse to try it because I don't need another addiction, like food thing that I'm like gotta avoid.
I
It's not
went
myself.
to a fair once, like the LA County Fair, and there was deep fried butter. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Who's
Y'all
eating
just like
that?
deep frying stuff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, deep fried. They must have just bought it. It must be new.
Well, I've heard of things like deep fried Oreos and
Yes.
gosh, I do love me a funnel cake. I love funnel cake.
Yeah.
But just a stick of butter. Oh.
Yeah. Well, the stick of butter is just like too much. Like that's just like at that point, like you sit around eating butter sticks, you just kind of gave up. It's like wearing sweatpants all the time. Like you just kind of gave up. It's over. Like I don't care anymore. That's what that says to me. Like if I'm just eating butter sticks, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you will know I've given up, people. So,
Right. Like to hell with my heart, I don't need it. You know, I'm eat this butter stick and eat bacon sandwiches.
Teresa in the chat says Paula Dean started the deep fried butter craze.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe she got tired of hitting them chickens. And she's back.
I don't know what I missed, but I love anything deep fried.
People were saying that you can deep fry Peeps. That they've seen that. And I said that probably makes it better.
Right. And she also mentioned, Sarah also mentioned that she was somewhere and saw that they have deep fried butter sticks.
Yeah. I saw that at a fair.
Yeah, that's like I said, that's when you gave up. You just like, oh the hell.
Yeah.
Like just because you can doesn't mean you have to.
Right. Or you should. Because your heart will never forgive you.
Yeah, you're just like, man, F that cholesterol.
Right? Your heart's like, oh, this what we doing? Okay. See, I like it. Oh, please.
Someone posed a science question. Wouldn't the butter just melt?
Yeah.
No, I think they like freeze it, or I don't know. They just
I have no idea.
There's some way they figure it out.
I think once it like hits the hot oil, it like I don't know.
Well, until it gets
try ice cream. I've heard of that.
Right. Yeah. If you freeze it, and as long as you coat it with some kind of, because butter is nothing but fat.
Yeah.
So as long as it's coated, you dip it and then you flash fry it. So
you guys do not come here for our science knowledge. That is for sure.
Yeah. I can see how you could do it, but the question is, it's kind of like the Jeff Goldblum in the Jurassic Park. Like you guys were so worried about how to do it, you never asked, should we do it?
Yeah.
Should we do this? Maybe this is evil. And like I was telling Sarah, like I don't need one more thing that I have to not do. You know what I mean? Like I'm at that point now where I'm like, I got to cut back on this and cut back on that. I don't need one more thing to look. I'll fall in love with eating fried butter sticks. Now all of a sudden I got to avoid eating fried butter sticks. Like, I got enough trouble with pizza and ice cream. Like I'm good. Like I don't need to add one more damn thing to avoid when I go to the county fair. Got to get out of the butter stick line. Like, I already got to stay away from the damn funnel cake.
We're learning that in Scotland, deep fried Mars bars are a thing. And I have to agree with Sarcasm. Japanese tempura ice cream is delicious.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I will not be trying that because I don't need another addiction.
It's really good.
Like this is it.
Y'all just making me want to go eat a bunch of terrible food for me. So I'm blaming everyone on this live for my dinner tonight.
So, with me, I can have like 2 bites and then I'm like, I'm full. So it's like, it's not as fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I have. Did you guys have anything that you wanted to say about as far as the episode that we talked about or reviewed tonight? I
really enjoyed this episode. I love seeing I feel like such a hypocrite because on the same time I'm criticizing the fact that these kids are being exploited. I do enjoy the episodes that I enjoy the most feature the kids the most.
Right, right.
Well, that's why we feel a connection to them, and we also, I think, feel like I often get mad when we talk about like, oh, they didn't get paid for it. It's like, I don't care that the parents are like later on throwing them money. Like they should have been compensated for the work they were doing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Especially like McKelty and Madison, who have had births on the show.
Right.
You could not pay me enough. And doing that for free, just like to give a kickback to my parents. No way. No way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The only other thing I wanted to say. Oh, go ahead, James. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
The only other thing I just thought about watching this episode was I did think it was like a really beautifully shot episode. Especially now we've got like our latest 4 seasons where all the background was like people's backyards with camp chairs. Like the pumpkin patch was stunning to me. And I was like, oh, I gotta get out to Utah and like visit.
Right.
Utah really
it just seems like
beautiful.
Because it just seems like now everything, because especially after the vid 19, the panorama. I don't know if you can say it anymore because I remember before they used to block you. You said what it was, but after everything happened, they spent a lot of time just filming themselves, and then once they did that, like the quality of what they filmed kind of tanked out. Like they didn't even bother trying to go anywhere or do anything. And like you said, it's just a bunch of backyards, people's living rooms, phones set up that they set up. Like they fired all the camera people. Like it's just like the show production is taking a huge tank. And hopefully in this next season they actually invest in like more of the production, and they pay a little more attention to some of the storylines. But what do you guys think about just speaking of which, just give a quick thing. What do you guys think about the season coming up? Do you think it's going to be interesting or not really? Not a lot of meat on the bone.
I'm really interested to see like kind of the division of the assets, how that's going to work. Because now it's just Cody and Robin. I'm really interested to see like their financial situation. If they talk about it, seems like they kind of have to talk about it because what are we doing? How are we dividing?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If it was a different production company, I might have more faith. I have no faith. I'm going to be a negative Nancy, and I'm going to set the bar really low, and I hope they pleasantly surprise me.
Right.
That's a good way to go into it, Amanda, because you won't get disappointed.
Right. And it's actually consistent with what we've seen in the past because they've taken some pretty good concepts. Like TLC as a whole have taken some pretty good concepts and either run them into the ground or they take you right up to the point where it could be compelling television and they just drop the ball on it. You know, like, oh yeah, we got this going on. Well, anyway, in other news, let's talk about what kind of shoes you like.
Yeah, if it's like Cody and Robin like going on date, I don't even know what I want, but it's got to be good. Thank you, Teresa.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, Teresa Skinner, 1999 Super Sticker.
Woo, woo.
#1. Oh yeah, make sure you guys hit the thank you, Teresa. Teresa Skinner's in the house. Make sure you hit the like button on each one of the channels. And before we go, I want to make sure that I say thank you to everybody in the chat. Yes. Also, I want to give a big recognition to the moderators. On my end, I have Lizzie B and Rochelle J. Who do you guys have?
I see Kendra, Starkasm. I've seen a few. So thank you guys.
Yes, and I see Starkasm. I am still just adding more mods. But I do have Starkasm. Thank you so much. Thanks to all the mods. Y'all do a great job.
Yes.
Yeah. There was one other person. Was her? I think. Well, make sure I get everybody. Sorry, folks. Oh, here it is. Kendra Wah. I don't know who's.
Yeah, Kendra is one of my mods.
Okay.
Yeah.
So big shout out to Kendra. Thanks for everybody holding it down. And I appreciate everybody keeping it live, funny, and friendly in the chat box, per usual, because as I've always said, YouTube should be a place you go for fun. You should not be going on here to stress out. You know what I mean? That's what Facebook is for. So if you're having difficulties, you have a problem, go to Facebook, argue it out. You know, 3 days later, you still mad, texting people.
That's so funny.
That's not what it says. But yeah, thank you guys so much for hanging out. We got the notification. Amanda's computer gave us the notification, the heads up that it was over. When it was like, yeah, we're done.
Wait, when I went out?
No, just your 1 hour and 30 minute reset. Yeah.
We hit that timeline. And I said that. I was like, I'll give you credit because that bad boy is consistent. Like, it will be like, we're done. It's over. The time's up. You should have said what you had to say. Now it's over. So, it is what it is. But thank you guys all for hanging out with us. I appreciate it. That's my take. I'm James from My Take on Reality. We have Sarah House from Reality Squad, and we have Reality Amanda. Before we go, do you guys have anything coming up this week that folks should be kind of keeping an eye out for?
Yeah, I have a video that I'm gonna try to get out tomorrow. And yeah, but I'll see you guys in the next video.
Yeah, and everybody, thank you for being patient with me. I am just still working really hard to edit my finale, Seeking Sister Wife vid, but I'm having a lot of fun, so it's going to be fun to watch. So, but thanks for being patient. That's coming out just as soon as possible.
Yeah. ASAP. There you go. Love it, love it, love it. And then I have a video coming out talking about Christine, the unsung hero, and her heroism and dealing with postpartum. It's a little fun video. It's not going to be too heavy. So keep an eye out for that. And that's what we got. That's where we are. And I think it's a good time to say adios and good night. So thanks everybody for coming out. Have a good night.
Bye.